yeah,
My
it's
cousin
a
was
high.
born with like our joints have like sockets. My cousin was born with like where the joint in your knee is supposed to be. My cousin's bone was just flat, and her knees would dislocate in her, like both of her knees are like this. They don't know why, some kind of like a genetic
Thank you,
anomaly, I guess.
Vanessa.
But both of her knees would like dislocate constantly in her sleep. And when she turned like 16, she ended up getting a double knee surgery for both of her knees, which has significantly benefit her life despite how high the rate for complications and regret is on that sort of thing. And that's a procedure with a much higher regret rate. But yeah, it's we need to consider when we're talking about healthcare. Yes, regret rates exist. There are rates of complications, but how many people's lives are actually being genuinely changed and impacted for the better as well?
Absolutely. I think that when it's like dog whistle is the wrong word, but it's definitely like an alert to me when somebody cites like a 2% regret rate or a 2% like complication rate that they don't know what they're talking about. All they know is to parrot kind of like politically charged talking points
Yep.
that support the rhetoric they want to engage in. And
Yeah.
yeah, those like little alarm bells, those little telling kind of tricks and whatnot. I definitely think I like to look out for.
Hold on, small. So I do have a question for Outdoor Mama. So what if the baby isn't viable to live, and what if the baby's brain dead? So is that would then would you have to terminate the pregnancy? I'm just curious. Yeah, I
I
do
mean,
want to get opposition up.
yeah, I mean,
Would that
Outdoor Mama
happen?
has enough followers to join, and I'm happy to drop down because I only jumped in here after I got back from the gym. It's 6
Well,
a.m. I want to have a nap before my day starts.
Yes,
yeah,
get
I've
that
also got to
nap in,
actually,
small.
I've got to go hop on a Zoom call anyway, so I'm probably going to head out now because that starts in 1 minute. But it was nice talking for the time I did. Good luck,
But
guys.
I don't know if that's
It was
Yeah,
lovely
yeah,
sharing space with you again,
there's
Evan.
70 people watching.
Yeah,
How many
for
people
sure.
could be?
You guys are great.
Thank you, Savannah. Thank you for the roses, y'all. I do have a goal, 50 puff hearts, if anyone is able to do that. I would greatly appreciate it. Hi, Celine. How are you?
Hi, I'm okay. How are you?
What was that?
My daughter.
I was like, what was that?
Yeah, we heard, girl.
I'm 31, by
Okay.
the way.
are
Hi, Sav. Hi, Josh.
you are you
I'm not
are you
up. I'm
pro-life?
friendly.
Oh,
Oh, you're friendly. You're more than
Yeah.
welcome to stay up here with us if you want to.
Okay. Would you mind if I start off by making my favorite point? Because I have one that I feel like a lot of people don't consider.
Yeah, go ahead.
usually when I join,
Awesome.
Charlie,
Thank
the
you.
volume goes
So,
down. Just let me know. It gets too crazy.
What I normally ask when there's pro-lifers on the panel is I ask, do they know that a unalived body, like a deceased person, has more rights in the U.S. currently than a body of a living person with a uterus?
What?
And they have no idea what I mean by that.
Explain.
So I don't know if you heard before that I was going to touch on the medical exemption and then lead into the bodily integrity.
Can't just say stuff.
That's actually what my end point was going to be. So I'm glad that you brought
Yo,
that
what
up.
up, guys? What's up over on?
So it's that
I see you over on YouTube.
people that don't sign away on like the organ donor spot on their IDs, they can save dozens of lives. Dozens. But you can't touch those organs because they did not sign it away, so they have more autonomy after they're already deceased than a person living with a uterus does. And I cannot get
a
over
person
it.
with a uterus. Oh my god.
And another really, really good example, during the process of giving blood, you can revoke consent at any point. If you have committed to donating, a liter of blood, which I used to have to do, well, not have to, but I used to do pre-chemo, because, I was like happy to donate blood because I'm so negative. But obviously post chemo, post radiation therapy, we are no longer allowed to donate blood. But during that process, if at any point you decide you no longer wish to proceed, you're able to terminate the process.
I don't understand what they mean.
In that sense, you are actively providing a life-giving service in the same way that, you know, throughout pregnancy you are actively providing that service to another entity. But in the act of giving blood, you're able to terminate it at will. Pregnancy, you don't have that benefit purely because people place the value of
So, Courtney,
potential fetus over actual living people who will need medical care.
no
But
more
I don't think
rights.
that they actually do value that. I think it's just about exerting power over people with like reproductive.
Yeah, they say the person who's
systems that are
dead
able
or
to
deceased has more
maintain
rights than
pregnancy.
a person who
It's
person with a
absolutely
Wait, real
universe.
quick.
And Zach,
Oh, sorry. Just real quick, Kristen. Thank you for having me. I do have to go for a bit. And hopefully I will see you
Very
soon.
good. Yeah, thank you so
Thank you,
much for
guys.
coming up, Savannah. Bye.
and Zach
Love
in the
I'll be jumping
comments,
down as well.
Oh no, you don't
I'm so
have
sorry,
you
I
don't
didn't
have a
mean to
mob
interrupt,
of
but
people
it's
to
6:03
roast
a.m. I
everyone
need a
with.
nap. I will catch you guys later. And thank you so much for having me.
coming up. Yeah, thank you for coming up. Man, I've been live for almost 2.5 hours. Was not expecting to go this long. So I do want to get one more opposition up before I do end. So if there is an opposition that would like to join, please feel free to do so. Thank you, Savannah. Love you.
I requested.
Let me join. Are you opposition, Shags? Hi, how old are you?
I'm 39. Yeah, just turned 39.
All right, and why do you feel like you are obligated to speak about women's bodies when you can't give birth?
Because I don't think having a voice on something like that is. I don't think I need to be a woman to say my piece on it. I think it's important that you get perspectives all around. And I mean, especially because it does take. It takes two to tango. The man is involved with the pregnancy anyway. He should have a say in it.
sure, but what are you going to give me a perspective on?
Yeah, what's the perspective?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Because Celine has a child. So what, like, where would you draw a line for a woman to have an abortion?
I would say, like, for me, it's a toss up. Like, what do you mean, like gestational period wise, or like event wise? What do you?
Lord in heaven.
Oh my God!
It's a real question. Because
So
I would say if
so say I'm talking.
Yeah, go ahead. You're fine.
So say a 12-year-old is great. Do you feel like that 12-year-old should sustain a pregnancy? Do you feel like even for a grown woman, when they are great, do you feel like they should be held accountable? Outdoor mama, listen, you're fucking disgusting. Anyways, so anyways, even if a woman is great, do you feel like that person should be found accountable and should go through the pregnancy?
No, I don't think anyone in their right mind is advocating for that.
Oh, trust me, there's a lot of people that
They are.
Do you have an example?
They are.
But who? I mean, that's an important thing.
I do. I have a couple people on this app.
Okay.
I've gone into numerous lives where the topic is literally no exceptions to have an abortion. No exceptions.
Well, yeah, I think that's wrong. I mean, I think that's a weird position to take, because something forced like that, especially when the person's underage, like, not only should the perpetrator be shot into the sun, but we should take care of the child, and also adults. Like, I mean, of course, I don't think there's any debate about that. even in like government. You know, I don't think anyone's trying to protect those people, and if they are, I'm against that.
So here's my next question,
Hmm.
because I'm pretty sure Celine and Sabrina can even testify to this. Not all safe contraceptions work.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's
So
a risk you take.
so
yeah.
what about so what about that instance?
Well, I
Should
do.
that woman still go through pregnancy?
Yeah, well, I think there's value in you know, in being prepared. Now, like just understanding the
Exactly.
consequences of what it is you're doing, and it clearly says on all that stuff that it's not 100%, you know, and people should be taught it's not 100%. And
So that's on the woman.
no, it's on both parties. It is on both parties, and that's why the man
Right.
is okay to
Okay.
speak up on it.
So can I just share my story?
Sure.
I was 18 years old. Okay. I thought my partner, my boyfriend of 2 years, had contraception. He thought he had a, you know what people use. I don't know if it's okay for TikTok. Took it off, did not inform me of it, and did whatever. And then told me afterwards. Here I was actually 17. Here I was in a dark place, kept telling him, what should I do? What should I do? He said, there's nothing. Oh, don't worry about it. He was a kid like me. Became pregnant. You know, I had her. She's my beautiful angel. But in that situation, I was so afraid and, you know, felt so alone. And thank God, you know, my parents were happy and they supported me. Guess where he's at? He's gone. He left me at 8 months pregnant. Is getting paid under the table, is not helping me financially, is not helping me with, he never even met her. I was with him for 2 years.
Oh.
So in that kind of situation, you know, that does happen. That's something that
course.
happens.
Yeah.
You know, so put yourself in the woman's position. And it's not only if the woman, I had thank God I had a good pregnancy. Thank God it was easy. But in other situations, of course, what if a woman isn't you know, ready to have the child? It's their body, it's their life. I had to take full responsibility. I couldn't force him to be there.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't, you know, till this day, has not. She's 23 years old and she despises, she says, I do not want to bring children into this world. And because of that simple, you know, because of her father and being absent.
Well,
Sabrina, I don't mean to stop you. Hold on just 1 second. So Zach in the comments, I just want to make this very clear for you. The way that you are attacking women in the comments, actually, from all the women in the comments, can we get hashtag stay away from women, Zach? Can we please get that in the comments? Because this shit is fucking wild. This shit is so fucking wild.
Stay away.
Zach, like, you are disgusting. He's basically saying that for a woman, for a woman, even if they're raped, she should be found liable and should be found to where she should go through the pregnancy.
Yeah, sounds like a clown.
Disgusting.
You know, so this is,
He looks like a fucking clown.
this is one reason I like to join these lives, because you know, there are things that we can agree on. Like the one thing I'll say, Sabrina, right? Like you have a beautiful daughter who you love. She has a loving, caring mom. It's unfortunate that she doesn't want to have kids based on her dad. But I mean, if you had chosen the other direction, I would argue like you wouldn't have this. I mean, you obviously wouldn't have this beautiful daughter. And I always say to people that, because I talk about this stuff a lot, that the only way
But have you seen the media lately?
What's that?
The media, have you paid attention to the media of the women having the children and then leaving them at home, or killing, you know, or unaliving these babies because they cannot take on the responsibility of motherhood.
Oh yeah, they're monsters. They're monsters.
Exactly.
But it doesn't excuse.
So
I mean, people have agency. That doesn't fall on the man, or it doesn't fall on anyone. It doesn't fall on the. I mean, it falls on the individual who would do something horrific like that. It has nothing to do with someone
the men are
forced.
also doing the same thing.
What's that?
Oh. The men are also unaliving their children. There was just a case where
No
the
one's
men
defending that though. I don't. It's a weird thing to bring up. No one in their right mind is
what
defending that.
What I'm trying to say is these people are not ready and should not have children.
Yeah, but
because of course they're not capable
do
of,
you think they represent the broader spectrum of people though? Do you think they
there's a
recommend?
lot
Do you
of
think?
cases.
No, okay, and I'll disagree with you on this because I think one thing that social media has done to people is they put out videos like that about these horrific women and men that are doing these things to kids and unaliving them, and they allow you to play it over and over and over again and share it over and over and over against multiple sites, and you do think that these things are happening at a rate that most of them aren't even happening anywhere near you, but it's awful that it is
Even
happening.
one child.
Oh, of course.
Even
of
one
course.
child.
No one's debating that.
That is enough for me.
Yeah, no, but these are
Okay, but people use the 1% of late-term abortions against us all the time.
Thank you. Yes.
yeah, well, yeah.
Less than 1%.
Yeah, they're equally as bad. They're equally as bad.
No, it's not. Do you know why those happen? Do you actually know why?
No, medical
late-term
necessity
abortion
is not
happens?
an abortion, in my opinion. Like, it's
So,
not.
Okay, but it's
so-
always
so-
medical at that stage. Always.
Yeah, so if someone
Shags,
if
let
it's
me
a
make this let me just say something real quick. So imagine being a woman, okay, and going to an abortion clinic, and you see all of these protesters outside the building, okay,
Mhm.
and they're coming up to you and harassing you, saying that you are a schmurderer, or you're committing a crime, or basically saying that it's your fault, or saying that you're the problem. Imagine being in a woman's spot.
Have you heard of the people who also pull those girls aside that are walking into that clinic and pull them aside and say, "I will help you once you have the baby, because their main concern, the girl walking in the clinic, is I can't do this because I'm young. I'm not, the father unfortunately has left. I'm not ready. And I know I'm too young. I'm this and that, they're conflicted. And then these people lie to them and say, once you have the baby, we're going to help you. And these are pro-lifers. And they will pull them aside, convince them that they're going to help them. When they have the baby, they're left high and dry. No help. They lie to them. They convince them, have this baby. They have it. And then they leave. Have you heard of that?
No, not specifically. I mean, I'm sure people encourage those who want to have an abortion to not have it, and hopefully in hopes
But
that
they have
the
no
individual
idea.
will be adopted later on. I'm sure that's like what
They have no
happening.
idea what we're going into those clinics for. They don't,
Sure.
because I was pulled aside going into a Planned Parenthood to get prenatal care because
Okay.
I didn't have insurance yet for my child, and I got yelled at about being a schmurderer.
Thank you.
When I was literally going in to get my child, my baby taken care of and get prenatal care and ultrasounds from a clinic that was supporting that, because Planned Parenthood supports a whole hell of a lot more than abortion.
Right. No, and again, you can't paint everyone with a broad brush. It's in the same vein as when people go to protest.
No, it's
Hold on,
very
let me finish.
common.
Let me just finish.
It's very common.
I know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I would understand. I understand that. I mean, I'm sure people have an idea of what they think they have an idea of what people are going to Planned Parenthood for, because it's the same thing as like when people go to protests and they're holding up a sign. They have no idea what it means. They're just there because someone handed them a sign. They don't know what it's really for. So they're just doing what they think is their part in whatever movement they're a part of. I'm not making excuses for these people. I'm saying, as it pertains to your discussion here, that you're not the only person who gets to say in this, because majority of the time, you have someone else who was involved with it, and they should have some say. And I don't think that, or at least have some input on it, because again, there is a man usually involved with it, and then they likely do want to, or maybe they want to take care of it, and then you can sign away your rights to it. That's always an option. It's not always a very common thing, but is also something that could be done.
Do you think that happens a lot?
I don't know, but it's still an option.
It doesn't happen though. It doesn't happen. I guarantee you, probably 1 out of a million.
Oh well, you don't have the stats either. Then you're guessing as much as I am.
No.
So Shags,
that's not very common.
So Shags, the point that I'm trying to make for this live is that for a man like yourself, you should not be concerned with what women are doing with their bodies. If anything, you should be worrying about yourself.
Well, here's
what honest.
Well, here's what I'll say to that. Here's what I'll say to that. Is that I am not trying to force anything on anybody, but I do think it's productive for people like myself and other opposition, especially in these lives, to say their piece on it, because I do think it's important that people find a little bit more value in human life. I'm not 100% pro-life. People have argued, oh, you are pro-choice because you're not 100% like that. But I think people, if they treated life as a full life from conception, you would see a lot less mishaps. It's not perfect. You'll never have perfection. You'll never be able to prevent 100% of unwanted pregnancies, unfortunately. You'll never be able to stop all of these monsters from unaliving children at a young age by, putting a pillow over their head or whatever it is. Like, there's some awful people out there, and you just can't stop it.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I have been live for 2.5 hours. I do want to get to a meeting, but
You
so
gotta
I
take a break.
yeah, it's time to take a break for a few hours. I do plan on going live maybe a little bit later on tonight. I do plan on going live tomorrow as well. So if anyone wants to come back, please feel free to drop a follow. Please follow Celine. Please follow Sabrina. We are more than willing to have you up here. So please make sure to drop a follow. Thank you, Lindas. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lindas. I greatly appreciate it. So I will be back on probably around 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. So if anyone wants to join